Parole.
Frank Savage.
Okay, I am joined today by my colleagues. I'll be the chair, Ms. Cheryl Renatza and Mr. Steve Prater. We're here today for your revocation hearing. The way this is going to go, I'm going to read you your violations. You are to plead guilty, not guilty, guilty with a statement, or not guilty with a statement. Do you understand? Do you have your questionnaire with you, your parole questionnaire?
No, sir, I don't have a parole question.
Okay, we're gonna put it on the screen. Tell me if that's your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Okay, so you're not eligible for counsel, and I can see you didn't retain your counsel. Okay, so after we do all of this, we'll read all your violations. We'll let you plead guilty or not guilty, and then we'll let your speakers, Shawanda Robinson, your mother, speak, and then we'll let Summer Taylor, the fiance, speak, and then we're going to let Mr. Steve Prater, who was assigned your case, ask you the questions. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. It says that you moved without permission of the parole officer on about 12/15/23. Tell me your name and DLC number. I'm sorry.
Shane Chester, 716-376.
Okay. Like I said, it says you violated condition number 2, that you failed to report to your parole agent on 1/11/24. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty with a statement.
Okay. Number 3, you moved without the permission of your parole officer on or about 12/15/2023. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty with a statement.
Okay. You were engaged in criminal conduct which led to your arrest on 2/3/24 by the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office and subsequently charged with aggravated domestic abuse battery and child endangerment. This charge was amended in open court on 5/22/24 to criminal mischief. The offender entered a no contest plea. Court accepted accused plea. The court sentenced the defendant to be committed to the parish prison for 102 days with credit for time served. How do you plead to those charges?
The initial charge, or the charge that I was playing with after.
All of the violations. How do you plead to them?
Not guilty with a statement.
Okay. And you failed to make any payments towards your supervision fees and are currently $252 in arrears. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty with a statement.
Okay. As I said, your case has been assigned to Mr. Prater. Mr. Prater, would you ask any questions, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I need to know what exactly did you plead to in reference to the domestic violence situation?
I pled to the criminal mischief. That was the charge that they amended it to, and that's the charge that I pled to.
Okay, Miss Nix, sometimes we see in these situations where the victim sends an affidavit in saying it didn't really happen and etc. Miss Nix is saying it did happen for sure, and she couldn't understand why all of the charges were reduced to a misdemeanor. She's so adamant that it happened. Can you explain explain that situation to me?
To be honest, I came home and well, the situation is basically because I moved on. I got with somebody else and she started calling the police, and that was it. I was never around her. I had a restraining order that was placed on me that I didn't know about in October. I think that's when the charges was pressed in October. The one with the restraining order, something was like that was placed, and I had to move from that address. But I have a recording where she was talking to my lawyer, and she stated to my lawyer that she did not want to proceed with any charges. She did not want to see me just sitting in jail for a year if I didn't have to sit in jail for a year and I didn't do anything. She wanted to help me out the best way she could. That's what she told my lawyer. I have all of those recordings on file. I have everything on file when she stated that to my lawyer.
Okay, her son was present also and said the same thing. Her side of the story.
I mean, I never even had a statement, anything from him. Like I never read anything, heard that he had a statement. I have never heard anything about this. It was just so far of her. That's all I've heard. I never heard anything else about it. So I don't know how to answer that question. I wasn't nowhere around at the time of the situation that this happened. She found out I was with someone else, and that's what happened. She called the police on me, and she said that I abused her by strangulation, and I guess the kids was at the house. I don't know, to be honest.
If I was to say I was going to flash out at somebody, what does that mean?
I just tell them like what's basically going on, like let them know like about the situation that's going on, like so they have a clear understanding of what's going on. That's all it means.
The term flash out?
Yeah, like flash out, I'm gonna flash out and let you know exactly what's going on, like what this means. That's all it means. It don't mean anything else. Like I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going on with the situation. That's all it means.
Okay. All right, so you did plead guilty to something, and I think that's all the questions I got.
Ms. Ferrazzi, you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
I have one question. They say they took pictures of her injuries. How did she get those injuries?
Um, on the police report, they said she didn't have any injuries. They didn't see any injuries on her in court or anything like that. That's why my charge got amended down.
Okay. Let me just put this in the record. Deputy Martin had Nix fill out Louisiana victim notice and register form and gave her further reporting information. Deputy Martin took photos of the victim's injuries, which will later be uploaded to evidence. Deputy Martin then filed a warrant for your Shane Chester's arrest. So you're saying that there was no injury?
No, sir, there was no marks or any physical injuries on her neck or anything like that. Like I said, I was nowhere around her at the time of this incident.
Okay. All right. We're gonna hear now from your mother, Shawanda Robinson. Ms. Robinson?
Hi. For some reason, it won't allow me to have my camera on, but I just wanted to state that Shane's been there since I think about November. We've been going back and forth. Miss Nix, she says that he does things, then she say he doesn't do things. It's just been an ongoing back and forth thing with her making allegations, then she changed her mind and say things didn't happen. I just want to see this resolved. When you move on for somebody, I'm a firm believer because I am a woman. And I don't want to see anybody abused or misused or mistreated. But if somebody moves on, that doesn't give me the right to say things or to try to place them in places that they should not be. Although I do believe in being accountable for situations, I don't know what happened. All I know is that he said it didn't happen. She said it didn't happen. Then she said it did happen. It's just like too much back and forth hearsay about the situation. And I just want to see him to be able to move on with his life, be productive, continue to work. He likes and enjoys working on the boats offshore or whatever. But from my understanding, he did not, with the protection order, how can he stay in a home? And it was my understanding that he did let Miss Amy know that he had moved or changed addresses, and she would say that that was fine. I have not spoken with Miss Amy because I don't like to interfere with anything. That's concerning law enforcement because I am also in law enforcement. It was to the point where Miss Nix was calling my then employee saying that I was interfering and I didn't have any knowledge at the time of what was going on. And thank God my supervisors and the chief knew me and knew my credibility that that was not my character. I just wish that this is over with. Let him be free to help raise his child, and they just co-parent. That's my desire, to see him home, being able to work and be able to co-parent with her, even if it means that we have to have a mediation or a pickup to get the minor child, and things of that nature. And I think she's a little upset because we're not able to get her other child that they were raising together, but that's not biologically his. But it was stated by the judge that we have to do what's right for the child that's just his. And I don't have a problem with getting the other child because we love her as well. But I don't want it to be a situation where she says something happened and it didn't happen, and then we're being held reliable for a child that's not legally ours, even though we love her to death.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Summer Taylor, your fiance, what do you have to say, Ms. Taylor?
Hi, I was just wanting to basically express my support on Shane and his character. Shane is actually a very loving guy. Since me and him have been together, I've never had, I mean, of course, people disagree, have little verbal arguments and things like that. But as far as, like putting your hands on anybody or anything like that, absolutely not. Shane has a pure heart. He's very loving to his daughters as well as mine. He's definitely a bonus dad to my girls as well. And we definitely would like to just see him home. He's a very hardworking man. That's all he did was go to work and home every day since he's been with me. As far as Miss Nix, I don't personally know her. I don't know the situation at hand. I know she was sending police to my house stating that Mr. Chester had was calling her basically and saying that he was sending threats to her, which definitely was not true. But I just hope y'all can find it in your hearts to let him come home.
Okay. All right. That'll do it for the testimony. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Prater, you'll go first because you had the case.
Yes, sir. I think that after reading his parole record, the notes from the parole officer, and the fact that he pled guilty to something, even though he's saying it didn't happen like it says, the lady's adamant about it and writes it up at length that it happened and that she's scared of him because that it happened. And I say again, he pled guilty to something, and the notes talks about he had a bad attitude and was that sort of thing from his parole officer. So I vote to revoke at this time.
Okay, Ms. Renatza?
Yes, I do agree with Mr. Prater. The record is very clear that something did happen. He pled guilty to criminal mischief in court. So my vote today is to revoke.
And I agree with my colleague. My vote is to revoke. Good luck to you, Mr. Chester.
Oh, okay, with this, what would I have to do off my parole? If I'm being revoked today, what would I have to do? Like, I mean, I have 3 years left on parole. So what would I be doing off my
Get a letter in the mail telling you your time, okay? All right. All right, so we are closing out at Tangipahoa Parish Jail at 9:35.